Good afternoon, Mr. Witness. Please sit down and welcome back to our afternoon session for continuation of your testimony before this Commission of Inquiry into Local Government Councils and related matters.
Thank you.
Before we proceed, I just want to remind you that you are still under oath.
Okay.
Okay. Madam Chair, over to you.
Good afternoon to everybody. Mr. Sise, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And welcome back.
Thank you.
Council, we may proceed.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Sise. Before we went on break, I believe you had said something about being assured that when you completed your BSc, that you would be you'd be promoted to Director of Planning. Is that right?
Yes.
Who gave you that assurance?
Pardon?
Who gave you that assurance? Who told you that?
This was after my interview at Local Service Commission.
So was it them who told you that?
Yes. To get to the position of director will be pending when after completing my BSc.
So, no, I just wanted to be clear. It is the Local Government Service Commission that told you that after your interview?
Yes, it was after the interview. Then it was after the interview when I got this promotion letter. I was told the position of Director of Planning and Development will be pending until when I get the bachelor's degree.
Okay, who that was contained in your letter?
No, that was not in the letter.
So who was the letter from? Was it the Service Commission, or was it the Ministry, or was it the Council?
The promotion letter?
Yes.
From the Local Service Commission, Ministry.
Do you have the copy?
I'm not sure. I can check with me.
Okay, please check. Thanks.
Yes, I have a copy.
The registrar will collect it.
This is confirmation. Would you mind to take off?
So let me just check. There are two letters. Okay, so the one promoting you is the one dated the 3rd September 2019. And it's headed appointment on promotion as Council Engineer Planner within the Local Government Service Commission.
Yes.
And then your letter of confirmation came 20th August 2020, confirming you in that position.
Yes.
Okay, so one of the letters is an original and the other one is a copy. Do you have the original of the appointment letter?
Maybe I might have left it at home.
It's where?
It's with me, but I did not bring it.
Okay, can you check for that one when you get back?
Yeah, the original.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll apply to tender the confirmation letter,
Okay.
and you can collect a copy from the registrar later for your records.
Thank you.
Chairperson, I apply to tender the confirmation of planner engineer letter dated 20th August 2020, addressed to the witness, Yaya TBCC, and it's from the Ministry of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs as an exhibit.
A letter dated the 20th of August 2020 with reference LM 35/131/01 in brackets 224 addressed to Yaya TBCC, Engineer Stroke Planner, Basse Area Council, Upper River Region, caption, Reconfirmation of Planner in Stroke Engineer. The letter is from the Ministry of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, the Quadrangle Banjul. It is signed by Omar Sise for Permanent Secretary, copied to Chairman, Local Government Service Commission, Chairman Basse Area Council, CEO Basse Area Council, file. Is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/YTBC/BSAC/002.
As a commission, please. So, Mr. Sise, when you got that letter, who informed you that the position of Director of Planning and Engineer would be vacant until you got your degree?
It was not official letter, but
No, I know. So you already said it wasn't a letter.
yeah, it was through my CEO,
You who?
Chief Executive Officer.
Okay, he told you that
Yeah.
they would keep the position vacant.
Yeah.
So did you start the degree program?
No, last year I opted for it, but didn't succeed.
You were what, sorry?
Last year I applied at the UTG.
Okay.
Through their portal, I entered the program. Started, for me to be able to enter for the program, but I could not succeed.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
how did you hear about the position being vacant? The position for Director of Planning? Or how did you know about it?
Okay, this was in 2019. It was the information was on newspapers and it was sent to the councils,
Okay.
advertising these positions.
And did the advertisement state the requirements? Did it state that someone needed a professional qualification or a BSc degree in civil engineering or building technology?
There were criteria, of course.
Yes. So was that one of the criteria, the degree qualification?
Degree was there, experience was there.
So what made you apply knowing that you didn't have the degree at that time?
Yeah, I was thinking that when the position is given to me, with the little background I have, I'll be able to man the position.
Okay. So before the break, we were also dealing with the contract with Golden Quarry.
Yes.
Now, you had provided a file with contracts of the council to the investigators
Yes.
previously.
Yes.
Now, one of these is the contract between Basse Area Council and Golden Quarry.
Yes.
Can you just look at this document? Assistant Registrar. Showing the contract. Can you confirm that that's the contract between Basse Area Council and Golden Quarry?
Yes, confirm, ma'am.
So that document is a copy, right?
It's a copy, yes.
Where's the original?
I believe the original might be at the National Assembly Select Committee, but the copies we had when they came for site visits, those original copies were given to them.
So this is the only copy that the council has?
This is the only copy, yes.
Assistant Registrar. Chairperson, I apply to tender the copy of the Basse Area Council contract with Golden Quarry. The witness has indicated that the originals are at the National Assembly, which would be difficult to retrieve. And the council only has those copies in its custody.
The Basse Area Council Infrastructural Development Projects, Lot 4, contract agreement between Basse Area Council and Golden Quarry is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/YTBC/BSAC/003.
As the Commission pleases. Now, Mr. Sise, there are other contracts. There's the one between Basse Area Council and Green Vision International, and the two contracts between Basse Area Council and Longjian Roads Bridges Company Limited.
Yes.
They were the contracts that were floated around the same time,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Now, are these also, where are the originals for these contracts?
They are all within National Assembly Select Committee.
Okay, can you just confirm that these are the contracts?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Chairperson, I apply to tender the contracts between Basse Area Council and Longjian. There are two contracts, and one between Basse Area Council and Green Vision as exhibits. The witness has also indicated that the originals are with the National Assembly. I'm grateful.
the Basse Area Council infrastructural development projects, contract document, Lonjan roads and bridges, between Basse Area Council and Lonjan Roads and Bridges Company Limited is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/YTBC/BSAC/004.
As a commission, please. Now, Mr. Cisse, there are several other contracts in the file, all of which are copies.
Yes.
Do you know where the originals are?
Yes. Some of the originals are with me, are in the file.
At the council?
Yes.
All right. Then I ask that you provide the originals of those documents
Okay.
when you're coming next.
Okay.
I'll get the registrar to give you the file so that you can note each one.
No problem.
Also, you had said that a contract was entered into with ATO.
Sorry, I haven't finished admitting.
Oh, I apologize. I thought you had said.
I thought you were going to produce
I
this
apologize.
one.
I apologize.
All right. The Basse Area Council infrastructural development projects contract agreement between Basse Area Council and Green Vision International is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/YTBC/BSAC/005.
As a commission, please.
The Basse Area Council infrastructural development project contract agreement between Basse Area Council and Lonjan Roads and Bridges is hereby admitted in evidence and marked as LGC/YTBC/BSAC/006. But can I please find out from council, because it seems the Lonjan Roads and Bridges are two.
Yes, there are two contracts.
Yeah. Register, please. Take.
Mrs. Cisse, I was asking about the contract with ATO, Civil Engineering and Supplies Company Limited. It's not in the file.
Which one?
The one that's the $18 million contract, the one with ATO Civil Engineering and Supplies Company Limited.
ATO Civil Engineering.
It's ATO? Okay, that one. The contract is not in the file. Would it be at the council?
It could be at the council or with the National Assembly, because that project did not materialize, but the document was prepared.
Yes.
I think if I go back, I'll find time to look for it.
Okay, please note that down as well, to look for that one. In your statement, you said you can remember the management team having an MOU with 5C Energy to digitalize the revenue generation of the council, and there was a baseline identified for the revenue maximizing. However, the council defaulted in the payments as per agreed in the contract documents. Do you have the contract?
The contract document?
Between council and 5C Energy?
No, I didn't have the MOU.
Would it be at the council?
It might be at the council with the CEO, at the CEO's office.
Okay, could you check for that as well?
Yes, okay.
Now, are you in a position to tell us what happened or how the council came to enter into this agreement with 5C Energy?
Okay, thank you. Since this reform started with the local government authorities,
Yeah.
councils were tasked to change the mode of revenue collection in order to maximize revenue. So, as management, we realized that the only way to do that is to digitalize revenue collection. So that was the time the management made findings and contacted these 5E Energy officials in Combo. I wasn't there, but I think so through CEO and the chairman. So make findings, and they were able to get their contact, and they engage them on discussions as to partner in the collection of revenue. So at one of our meetings, I could remember I was informed that they drafted an MOU. The 5C Energy drafted an MOU, and it was sent to council management to look at. And this was reviewed, and later there was an agreement, just to take this story short. Later there was an agreement between council and the 5C Energy.
So there was an MOU and then there was an agreement?
It's this MOU, when the MOU was prepared, you look at it, if you agree to it, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Not another separate agreement, no. When the MOU was looked at by the management, later they agree in principle and sign this MOU.
Now, do you know whether the council published a tender for 5C, or did they, for the contract, or did they directly engage the company?
No, I cannot remember if there was a tender for this particular arrangement, no.
So you said they made inquiries and then got the numbers.
Yes.
Did someone recommend the company to them for them to know to look for this particular one?
Yeah, I think CEO and chairman were assigned to make findings as to how to partner with any potential digital provider that can maximize revenue collection.
No, Mr. Sise, you have said in your statement that you were part of the contracts committee, and it's at the contracts committee that these issues are looked at.
Yes.
Yes. So how is it that it has to be the CEO and the chairman that were supposed to have done the detail? Because council is asking you what the process was, how you were able to identify 5C Energy.
Frankly, I cannot remember any day when the contract committee sat on this particular issue to look at this contract between council and 5C.
So it did not go through procurement process?
No, not to my knowledge.
Council, you may continue.
You said the chairman and the CEO were tasked to look for a company. Who tasked them? Was it the contracts committee or the planning committee?
No, the management.
Management. Whose management?
The council management.
As in, when you say management, who do you mean?
The council management comprises of the CEO, chairman, planning unit, and the director of finance.
So all
some
of
senior
you,
members.
So all of you together decided that the chairperson and the CEO should look for a company.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when they sent the MOU, did they provide any trials, or did they allow the council to test the machines to know whether they could work with them or not?
Yeah, there was a period when the machines were provided, they were given to finance and the IT to look at them to see whether it's possible. Then this was done for a short period, and later it was realized that yes, it can work. There were some machines for some time for testing. I think, was it at the Lumos or at the market? I'm not very much sure. But there were machines for a period allocated to the particular revenue area for collection. So.
And did the council at any point try to see whether it could purchase the machines rather than having a sharing agreement with the company?
Well, not to my knowledge, but I was later informed that in part of the agreement, it was made clear so that this supplier, the company 5C, will provide machines and some other materials, not only the devices, but some other material like the motorcycles and so on. Those were part of the agreement.
Did they provide any motorcycles to the council?
Yes, I was informed they bought two motorcycles which are given to revenue collectors.
And do you know when that was, when they brought the motorcycles?
No, I cannot remember the day.
As in the year?
Yeah, 2020.
It was 2020, around the time the machines came as well?
Yeah.
Now, do you know who manages 5C Energy? I'm sure you met with the officials, right?
Yeah, one guy, gentleman, used to be coming to council called Hakim. He had several meetings with us when there were issues of payment between them and council. He came to council, I think, twice for a meeting. That was the first time I met him. He had a meeting with the senior management because there was a time they were asked to print out what the machines have generated, and council was also asked to compile what we have generated. So during that discussion, I met him.
So the compilation of what council has generated, was it so that they would know what their share was?
Exactly, yes. So that they know, we all know what we should pay them. So there was that push and pull. This is what we have as 5C, and council, we also said, this is what our machine generated. So there was that push and pull between us.
So do you know what percentage of the revenue collected they were supposed to get?
No, I cannot remember, sorry.
Do you know if they were paid for during the period that the contract was, or the MOU was in force?
No, they were not paid. After for some time, they were given some amount. Was it 800,000 or 900,000? But they were not paid fully.
Do you know when they received that 800 or 900,000?
A couple of months ago, I think around, was it January, February?
So it was this year?
Yeah, this year. Astaghfirullah, maybe when this new chairman, this new team came up, there was some money. I was told they made some part payment to Hakim.
There was some money from what, sorry?
Around May, June. I cannot remember specifically, but that was the time I had. If you are to continue with them, and for them to provide more machines, we have to give them some amount. That was the time this money was paid.
Now, there was another company that provided some machines to the council. Do you know about that?
Yes, I was informed. I was aware with one IT company that came also to council for possible partnership for revenue collection. They brought some machines. I cannot remember the name of the company, but they came. They made presentations of their gadgets, and council asked them to prepare an MOU. They brought some machines for testing, and once for pilot project, and once we are satisfied, then we can go into full agreement with them.
So is there a reason why council would be planning to enter into another agreement with another machine provider when you can't afford the first one?
Yeah, I think the management was doing this to have a plan B, because we know our relationship with 5C was not going well. So I think that was why council went into this program.
So they would have gone into an agreement with the second company and still not been able to pay?
Well, I think that would have been, if that happened, maybe would have been an issue between us and 5C, but these other ones will be a new agreement.
So why did council not pay 5C from 2020? Why did they pay in 2023?
I think basically there was no money.
So that's what I'm saying. If there was no money from 2020 to 2023, and you're trying to get into another agreement with another company, how did the council plan to pay for that? Or you would do the same thing that you did with 5C and keep passing it on?
Maybe the agreements or the MOUs will differ in terms of payments. Maybe.
But did the council have money when they were planning to enter into another agreement with
No,
this
but
new
we
company?
didn't have money per se, but then we believe this other agency might have more better understanding to our situation, how we were, so that we can get into an MOU with them. This is what my thinking was. But eventually it was not materialized. So
when you floated the tender for the different roads and bridges,
yes,
as I said, the amount was about $32 million is odd.
Yes.
And council did not have the money at that time.
yes,
Now, one of the projects, which is the 18 million one, I'm assuming that's a very big project,
yes,
did not go through because council did not have the money. Your council is entering into different agreements, even though they know they don't have the money. I'm not sure whether it is discussed at any point in your different meetings what the legal implications are to council when you're entering into agreements that you can't honor. Is this something that comes up in your discussions, that somebody can take you to court, you may be liable for more than what the contract amount is? Is this something that comes up at all?
Well, at that time, personally, no. Maybe the senior men might have thought about it, but to me, I didn't thought about it. But of course, at one point, we were asked to have some guarantees, something materials or properties as guarantors at the banks. And of course, another document that the councillor signed, that was a resolution, and that was there was another document the council asked council to write.
Do you have copies of these documents where the council has given guarantees or pledged properties to the banks in exchange for loans?
I didn't have those written documents, those agreements between council and the banks. I don't.
Who at the council would have those?
Who?
Who at the council would have those documents?
The CEO or the chairman.
Okay. Commissioners, if you have questions.
Yes. Mr. Cisse, did you have the opportunity to read the report, the audit report?
The audit report?
Yes.
Yes, when the audit report came, all the senior management were present, and we make it a PowerPoint presentation at the hall to look at it, what are the audit queries, and what are we going to do as far as the audit queries are concerned as management. Yes.
So on this specific issue about the 5C energy, was it discussed? Can you recollect?
Yeah, I think it was part of the audit reports. I cannot remember what was said, but the 5C energy issue was raised in the audit report.
Yes, the audit report did highlight the formula, the sharing formula between Basse Area Council and 5C Energy.
Yes, it was captured in the MOU.
Sir?
Yes, that was in the MOU.
So what was the formula?
I'm not familiar with that document much, but I'm aware at one point there was percentage sharing basis between 5C and Basse Area Council.
Yes. What was contained in the document which they reproduce is that the first and the second year, 5C Energy will have 50% and Basse Area Council will have 50%.
Yes.
And the second and third year, 45% and 55%. 5 and 6 years, it will be 40%, 60%.
Yes.
7 and 8 will be 35% and 65%.
Yes.
9 and 10, 30% and 70%.
Yes.
And what were the issues that were of serious concern for the auditors with respect to this company?
No, I'm sorry.
You don't know?
No, I don't know.
Thank you. You can proceed.
Yes, I have few questions for you.
Thank you.
First, what can you tell us about your role in procurement in relation to your department or unit?
Thank you very much. As far as the issue of procurement is concerned, Basay Area Council has a procurement officer,
Yes.
and during contract committee meetings, the procurement officer take the minutes. Yes. And all material that need to be procured for our projects, the procurement officer will find out if there are invoices or there need to be invoices. Procurement officer will do those roles as procurement officer.
So, as the director of planning,
Yes.
when there is a project going on,
Yes.
and there needs to be procurement,
Yes. Yes.
how do you go about it? What would you do?
Okay. Most of the time, when there is a project that needs to be implemented, we need materials.
Yes.
The planning office will quantify those materials and write a request to the CEO requesting for this material for this particular project. Not these capital ones. These capital ones are directly carried out the companies that were issued, but other projects like Alunghare and others, the planning unit will prepare the BOQ. Then if there is need for a material at a point, the planning officer will request for those materials through the CEO, and this will be submitted to procurement to go and procure those materials.
Will that be you or someone working under your unit or department?
Me, I'll be requesting that.
So you will raise a purchase order?
I raise a request form. That's a request form
Yes.
that has been prepared by council. That's what I will fill and request for a particular number of material. For instance, if it is cement, I'll request for cement. Then I will address it to the CEO. Then CEO will minute it to the procurement officer. Then the procurement will do the rest of the process.
So for all projects that include, that falls under your purview, everything starts with you raising, filling a form before they actually will consider the mode of procurement.
Yeah.
So the audit report of the system audit report for Basay Area Council for the period 1st January 2020 to 30th September 2022. Are you familiar with that?
The audit report.
Yes.
Yes, I said I was at one point part of the discussions of the audit report and the management responses that should be done.
Okay. What can you tell us about the findings therein, and then what your opinion is in general?
Well, there is a lot of issues raised. I cannot remember a particular person, but there are a lot of issues raised as far as the audit reports are concerned.
Just tell us the ones you can remember, and then we can talk about that before I now discuss the ones that have been highlighted by the auditor. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
So which of the procurement can you recall?
I could remember very well that of the Alunghare project was mentioned that it does not go through the right procurement procedure.
Yes. And then?
Yes.
What do you have to say about that?
Yes, I could remember very well this Alunghare Jet Food project was mentioned, and it was highlighted that it does not go through the right procedure, procedures.
It was what?
It was not gone through the right procedures.
Yes.
Yes.
And then?
Yes.
Was that finding correct?
Yes, it was correct.
Yes.
It was correct.
It was correct.
It was correct.
So why is that the case?
Yeah, that must have been an oversight, because this project emanated from the ward project. You know, wards will identify projects within their, councillors will identify, through their communities will identify some projects. And there was 60% at that time allocated to councillors to implement those projects. So this particular project come at a time when the particular councillor was not having enough funds in his ward account.
Yes.
So he financed part of the payment from the ward account.
And who is this councillor?
Honorable Senu Kanute.
Seu Kante.
Senu Kanute, Basse Ward.
Basse Ward.
Yes. So the ward account funded part of the project. Then the rest was later agreed by council to be put by the other revenue of the council.
How much was funded by the ward councillor?
25,000.
And then from council?
From council, the rest of the amount was funded by council.
What is the entire amount?
The entire amount was around 600 and something thousand. I cannot remember offhand.
So now the project was awarded to one Mr. Silla.
One Mr. Silla, yes.
What is the name of Mr. Silla? What is the full name? Do you recall?
Muhammad Silla.
Where does he work?
He's in Basse.
In Basse.
He lives in Basse.
And so he was awarded the contract.
He was awarded the
What
contract.
was the procedure or the process of awarding him the contract?
Yeah, this, as I told you, he was identified by the ward committee, brought to us by the councillor, that he's the one they identified to do this particular project.
So had you had cause to know Mr. Silla before?
Yeah, I know him as a resident of Basse. I know him before.
Has he ever worked for the council?
No, he has never worked for council.
So he was identified by the ward councillor?
He was identified at the ward level as their contractor to do this particular work.
Did the contracts committee sit over this issue?
Yeah, this is what I was telling you. I said this was one of the lapses that we had in this particular
Did the contract
project.
committee sit over the issue?
No.
But you are a member of the contracts committee.
Yes.
So who awarded him the contract?
The council.
No, the council cannot award him the contract because the contracts committee never sat over this issue. So who made the decision to award him the contract?
Well, as I told you, when he was identified by the ward
Yes.
councillor, he came to the council and met the CEO and met me. That is the one they identified. So this is how he was.
So it was you and the CEO.
Yes, and the ward councillor,
Who is the CEO?
Mr. Usman Toure.
So why would you not follow due process in awarding Mr. Silla the contract?
I think, Mr. Commissioner, I think that was an oversight.
That cannot be an oversight. You are spending council's money at the amount of, you said, about more than $600,000. Is that not correct? Is that not correct?
Yeah.
And you did not follow any process. You decided on your own, together with the CEO, to award Mr. Silla the contract. Is it because there is some form of collusion?
No, sir.
But how can we believe that there was no collusion? Because this was not the only period when this was done. Or are you telling us, or are you telling the commissioners that this was the only time that you had an oversight in relation to your functions in awarding contracts?
Well, for this particular one,
Was this the only time that you had an oversight?
I may not say yes, because
You will not say yes.
yes.
Why? Because most of the contracts that were being awarded and the process of procurement were all done either by your very self or together with the CEO, without following any process. Is that correct?
Pardon?
Because most of the contracts that have been awarded
Yes.
did not follow due process, and even the procurement of services or goods for the contract will not follow any process.
Of course, there are due processes in most cases.
Now, was payment done in full?
No.
How much was paid?
Silla, I could remember there were two payments that were done. The first was 40% and the second was 30%. So I cannot remember the amounts offhand, but there were payments.
Is the project being completed? Was the project completed?
The project is completed.
Since when?
Around last year, September, October.
Was a certificate issued there too?
No, there was no certificate.
So how will we know that the project was completed?
Yes, the issue with this particular project was that we were providing the materials. It was not the contractor who was solely giving the contract to implement by providing materials.
You were providing material?
We were providing the materials, and Silla was assigned. We agreed with Silla to do the construction itself. But at around June, July last year, we were running out of finance problems. Silla requested for money. We said there was no money. So we later deployed.
But you and Silla could have just dipped in your pocket and pay him. This was not a council's project. It was yourself and the CEO.
No, it was not my project and CEO. But can I explain, please?
Yes.
Yes, I think this was after when Silla requested for money, we couldn't be able to provide payments. The contract continued pending. So around July last year, CEO asked me to deploy our council contractor, who normally do some contract works for council, who's employed as a council masoner. He was deployed to the site with some laborers, and they completed the rest of the work that was on site.
The entire administration, the entire award or process in awarding the contract was totally wrong?
Yes.
Which you have agreed?
Yes.
And now, there is also another issue regarding the digging of boreholes, 7 boreholes.
Yes.
In the 7 districts.
Yes.
Are you aware of that?
Yes.
What can you tell us about that?
Okay. This was around 2020. I cannot remember. I cannot remember the date, but then it was.
Please speak to the microphone and louder, please.
Okay. I could remember at one point during our management meetings that one gentleman by the name Jarga Kamara, a borehole driller, was brought to council, and we were all informed that he's the one who's going to dig 7 boreholes for council.
Yes.
So we were asked to identify the communities through the councillors. So out of the 7 districts, 8 districts, 1 was identified. I visited those communities and informed the council about their locations and the need for water. So this was the time we get into an agreement. But already there was discussion at some point, but later he was brought to council and he was introduced. That was the time I met the man.
Who brought him to council?
The chairman.
The chairman?
Yes.
Who is the chairman?
Honorable Fode Danjo.
Honorable Fode Danjo brought the contractor?
Yeah, that was this time I first met him in his office.
And he had asked that the contractor, the individual Jarika Kamara,
yes,
be awarded the contract to dig 7 boreholes.
Yes, yes.
And then you were having council meeting at the time, or was it a contracts committee meeting?
No, it was at the management meeting.
Management meeting?
Yes.
And there the decision was made to award him the contract?
Yes.
Now, is that the normal process? Is that the normal process of awarding contracts?
No, that's not the normal process.
So why did you not tell the chairman that was really abnormal and improper?
No, I didn't say that.
And so the value or the award contract is an amount of $3,421,740.
Yes.
Do you recall that?
Yes.
And there were responsibilities as to what the contractor should do,
yes,
and what the beneficiary, I suppose, council should do in relation to realizing the proper administration of the borehole, digging of the boreholes.
Yeah.
Now, let me read to you what were the obligations of the contractor.
Right.
1, to drill the boreholes. That's number 1. 2, provision of all the required materials.
Yeah.
3, installation of all plumbing works.
Yes.
4, installation of water tanks and understand.
Yes.
And the last one is 1 year guarantee period in case of any technical breakdown.
Yes.
Do you recall these conditions?
Yes, very well.
So you have that the beneficiary
Yes.
that there should be the provision of sand and gravel,
Yes.
lodging and feeding of contractors and team,
Yes.
and digging and laying of pipes to the various locations,
Yes.
and also to effect payment to the contractor.
Yes.
But you end up paying the entire amount of money, $3,421,740 in full to the contractor. Do you recall that?
Yes, I could recall there was an agreement as far as the mode of payment is concerned.
Let's assume
Yes.
there was a mode of payment, and then apparently he was paid accordingly. But then this entire amount was paid. As per the audit report, everything was paid. Or you don't recall that all the monies were paid?
There were payments. I could remember at some points he has been calling me, your people have not paid my money, they have not paid my money after when I complete the work. The contractor.
Yes, go ahead.
Throughout 2021, up to some point, he was calling me, your people have not paid my money, and I've completed my work.
As at the time of the audit report,
yes,
everything was paid. In fact, the auditor noted, by assessing the agreement above, we noted that the council paid the entire contract amount of $3,421,740 in addition to the above services, which was not agreed in the contract. So not only did you pay the agreed amount as being directed by the chairperson, and we will come to that,
okay,
but you went on to even effect payment in relation to sand and gravel, lodging and feeding of the contractors and team, digging and laying of pipes to the various locations. You ended up doing making all these installations of all the plumbing works. These were the responsibilities of the contractor. Drilling of all the boreholes, installation of water tanks and the stand, all the extra payments that were supposed to be of financial obligation of the contractor, you ended up paying for those. So not only did you pay an amount of $3 million, but you paid more than that.
That was not to my knowledge. As far as I understand, this project is concerned.
But you would normally be conducting the procurement. You, as in, you will initiate the procurement.
Yes. Can I explain, please?
Yes.
As far as the agreement is concerned.
Yes.
We went to decide to introduce the contractor.
Yes.
And part of the agreement was the community will dig the foundation for the pipes.
Yes.
Okay, and they will be lodging the contractor in their community.
Yes.
Yeah, but to say council have done those extra, the standard, because all that is inclusive in the project. The standard of the tank, and the tank itself, and the pipes, and all the other material that need to be on site should be provided by the contractor, not by us.
Let me read to you what we have.
Thank you.
That the contractor will do the following: drilling of all the boreholes, provision of all the required materials,
Yes.
installation of all the plumbing works,
Yes.
installation of water tanks and the stand,
Yes.
and 1 year guarantee. Now, the order is saying these responsibilities, this financial expenditure should be the responsibility of the contractor.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Now, he went further to say that, in fact, not only did you pay the $3 million, but instead you were financing all these responsibilities that were supposed to be the responsibilities of the contractor.
Well, that is not to my knowledge, because to me, if you charge me to provide a particular service, why you are charging is for you to provide those services.
No, Mr. Sise, I believe you understand Council's question. So please answer the question. He is telling you what the investigation found. That is what the report highlighted.
Yes.
So he's asking you, why is it that after paying the entire sum, Council still proceeded to pay additional sums of money that ought to have been included in the total sum that was contracted to the contractor.
Thank you,
So it's
ma'am.
very clear.
Thank
So
you.
as-
That is not to my knowledge.
Now, did you raise any purchase orders in relation to this project?
This particular project?
Yes.
No, sir.
So who was doing the purchasing and the procurement? Was it the chairman?
Well, as far as I am concerned,
Yes.
when we agreed this project,
Yes.
the contractor was asked to do all the services, all the necessary work.
Yes.
My role there was to take him around to the communities, introduce him to the communities.
Yes.
Then they provide him lodging.
Yes.
And when we inspect, we found there are faults.
Yes.
Then I come to council and report.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it not your role, as per your statement, when
Yes.
you said my responsibilities as the chief planner of the council include planning, supervision, costing of projects, usage of materials, and other related developmental activities?
Yes.
So, did you do that here? Did you perform your functions in this particular project?
Yeah, because
Did you take part in the costing?
no, I did not take part in the costings.
Did you take part in the procurement of material?
No,
Why? Who was doing that?
maybe the procurement because I
There's
was.
nothing like maybe. You
Okay.
should know, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, you should know. So it's the sooner you help us, but it is your department or your unit that is responsible. So unless we are left with no choice but to
Yes.
hold you accountable, you tell us who was doing this.
Then the procurement.
What do you mean procurement?
Procurement officer,
Who is the procurement officer?
Mr. Mohammed Jaune.
He was the one that was conducting this procurement.
Well, Honorable Commissioner, I am telling you.
I am counsel. The commissioners
Counsel,
are,
thank
yes.
you. I'm telling you that
probably one day I will be a commissioner.
as far as this project is concerned,
Yes.
I was not involved in any procurement process as far as the material issue
That
is concerned.
clear
Yes, okay,
for now.
thank you.
But you tell us now who was involved. The same way you told us it was the chairperson that brought the contractor
Yes, to the council.
to us,
Yes,
to you guys, sorry, the council.
yes.
Now we want to know how the procurement was done. Who was raising or deciding as to what to procure, when to procure, and how to procure?
Well, I was not.
Who
there.
was conducting the affairs of this particular contract? Is it the chairman?
Well, I'm not sure.
How are you not sure? Then it is yourself then.
No.
Then who is it?
And maybe the chairman.
Is it the chairman?
Yes.
As simple as that, sir. Why are you afraid of telling us it's the chairman?
No, I'm not afraid. I'm here to tell you the truth and the truth.
Yeah, but why will it take you a long time to admit that it's the chairman who was calling the shots, decided as to what to procure, when to procure, and how to procure?
Yeah.
Unless you're doing it together.
Thank you.
So now,
Sisi, we have noted, and we have evidence that you made some withdrawals. Can you tell us how many withdrawals you made from the various accounts of the council?
I cannot remember offhand, but I could remember there were set on some occasions I'll be given check to withdraw, purposely for my when I go for official meetings. Yes, but I cannot remember offhand how many of them.
You are going to produce for us the total withdrawals you have done in the various accounts.
Okay.
And for what purpose?
Thank you.
And if you have also deposited money into these accounts, provide us with the details. All of it. From 2018 to date. All right?
Madam, thank you very much. Frankly, I cannot remember depositing any money for council in any of the accounts. But I can remember when I normally sent on trainings that council need to pay our per diems or our cost, they normally give me checks. I could remember one was Reliance Bank that I cashed at Soma, and the other one was at Eco Bank in Brikama.
How much was the one in EcoBank?
Eco Bank, I cannot remember the amount of head. But
Which year was this?
Eco Bank was
Was it in 2020 or in 2023?
last year.
Yeah?
I think it was last year,
2022.
2022.
How much was it?
I can't remember the amount. Sorry.
You've not done withdrawal at Vista Bank?
Vista Bank, I did withdraw at Vista Bank in Basse.
What about Supersonics?
Supersonics, I cannot remember any withdrawal at Supersonics.
Please go back and check and provide us with the
I will do
detail.
that. I can go to the bank and find out.
Yes, please note.
I will.
Yes, note the information that we want you to bring for us. I'm done.
Yeah. Thank you.
Withdrawal at Supersonics. Oh? Okay.
All the banks you've withdrawn money from council's account
Supersonics, Vista,
and the deposits you have made.
Reliance, Eco Bank.
By the way, Mr. Cisse, you were a collector prior to being promoted as the what is it called? Overseeing the position. Before you were promoted as planner stroke engineer,
Yes.
you were a collector.
No.
You've never been a collector.
I've never been a revenue collector throughout my career at council.
All right. Thank you.
Now, these 7 boreholes, were they successfully drilled?
Yes. They were completed.
They were all completed.
Yes.
Now, you have seen them.
Yes.
What type of boreholes were being drilled?
The types?
Or standard, however you call it. How much would it cost for one borehole? The one you have seen.
Boreholes, normally the cost depends on the water table.
Yes.
There were some who cost around 400 something and some $320,000.
Is that the standard price generally?
Yes.
For one borehole?
For one borehole, yes.
So that is how much it costs to actually drill one borehole in that area?
Well, for this particular boreholes...
No, forget about this particular borehole. What would be the average cost of a borehole if I were to dig a borehole, for instance?
Yes.
For, let's say, a small community.
A small community.
What would be the average price of the borehole, the cost of it?
Well, it will depend on the demand, of course, how many taps you need to provide for that particular community.
How many taps were being provided in each of these communities?
Some are 4, some are 6. The bigger communities are 6.
How was this borehole costed? How did you come about deciding as to how much each borehole will cost?
Excuse me?
Who did the costing?
The costing.
Who?
Well, for this particular borehole, I did not do the costings. I found the costings at chairman's office, that these boreholes are costed.
So the chairman came with the contractor and with the cost itself, everything.
Yes.
And you guys just approved. You guys just rubber stamped it. Is that the case?
Well, I did not cost them, and I found the cost of these boreholes.
To be honest, I am not blaming you for costing the boreholes.
Okay.
I am only interested in the facts, and I think we are all here only interested in the facts. Now you tell us, where did you said you found the documents in relation to costing in the chairman's office.
Yes.
Did you find them by accident, or did you
No.
show it to you?
It was provided by the contractor to him.
And then that was the cost you guys went by?
Yes.
And that's it?
Yeah.
So, is that normal?
Well,
is that a normal process?
No, that's not normal process.
How should it have been done?
Well, it should have been. First of all, it should be tendered.
Yes.
But that was not done. And the second one we should have verified whether the cost he has brought is overcharging or he has undercharged. This is how it should happen. So now, and also we partner with personnel from Department of Water Resources who are who are housed by the council. We could have invited those people to look at what this contractor has brought, if he has not overcharged or he has undercharged. But that wasn't done.
Now we will come back to that, unless there are questions in relation to the borehole.
Thank you. Thank you, Council. You see, my problem is, Mr. Sise, you know everything that should be done. That I know. Because maybe you do not know that I know you really well. From the time you were doing your training as a physical planner with Dr. Raji. You remember?
Yes.
This was in the 90s. So you have the capacity and expertise, and you have the administrative and technical skills of everything that should have been done. But you left it. You didn't do anything. You allowed everybody to drag you just in the mud. 1. 2, I just want us to correct something. It seems that it's a norm now that councillors are called honorables. Mayors are called honorables. Chairmen are called honorables. No. An honorable member is somebody who goes to assembly, who went to election, or is nominated, or is a minister. Those who are in council are councillors. They are not honorables. But now, honorable councillor, so let's stop that. Because what the danger is, our young kids are listening to us. And then they will assume that what we are saying as elders is correct by calling councillors honorable. So I think we should stop that practice. Let's not change the nomenclature of anybody. A councillor is very important as an honorable member. So stepping up, just like calling the Mayor of Parliament Your Excellency, he is not. The Vice President is His Excellency. Secondly, Mr. Sise,
yes,
these are issue of specifications. The procurement guy doesn't know the specifications of a borehole. You know what I'm talking about. You could say the thickness of the pipe should be this, etc., etc., etc. The procurement officer is just somebody who has money and can go and buy. So you shouldn't have allowed these things to happen. And what is more serious is that you were not in any way part of the costing. Somebody just came and costed and gave it to you. You all accepted to go by that costing. As the council said, that's not good. We should have looked at the interests of the council. And what is the other thing I maybe will come to that later is that some projects, you said completed, some incomplete with reservation, some you say complete with reservation. Maybe these are new terminologies that are coming in now. But let's move on, Council.
Mr. Sise.
Yes, sir.
How active were your contract committee? How often did you guys meet?
We don't meet frequent.
When you say we don't meet frequently, in a year, how many times would you have met?
Well, the committee is not that active. Let's say we meet every quarter.
Yeah, because in your testimony, in your statement, You said, I equally serve as a member of the contract committee.
Yes.
And I do participate in the process of awarding contracts. However, for the payments of such contracts, I will be contacted through a request from the contractor and will conduct a site survey to assess the level of implementation.
Yes.
So for me, reading this, I would assume that your contracts committee do meet regularly when you have contracts to be awarded, or when you are performing, or when somebody is performing a contract.
Well, not all contracts we have been meeting, to be frank enough.
Now, in all of these contracts that we have here, did your contracts committee meet?
Yes, I could remember these infrastructure projects, these roads and bridges, the contract committee met.
Okay, let me ask you this. The project for the construction of the Alohari Bridge,
yes.
Did your contract committee meet?
Well, the contract committee didn't meet that one. I said
Sorry?
No.
I can call so many and your answer would be no, because we have evidences that your contract committee was very inactive.
Yeah, that's very true.
Okay? So your it's just for the fact that you want to state it in your statement that you are, that you are a member of the contracts committee, but the contracts committee hardly ever met.
Do mean met, but it's not active.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. So let's talk about the Green Vision contract.
Yes.
Was that be decided by the contracts committee?
The identification of Green Vision as
Yes.
a contractor.
Yes.
Yes.
You sat in a meeting.
Yes.
And then it was decided.
Yes.
That you will go by or with Green Vision.
Yes. That was done. They were shortlisted. There were a lot who applied, but they were shortlisted to.
How many people applied? Do you recall? Did it follow the proper process of tendering?
Yeah, I have the list of contractors who applied, and there was tender opening done. We have that list.
Let me tell you what the auditor found.
Yes.
That during the review of the procurement, that's on page 68, if you want to follow. During the review of the procurement process for some projects, we noted that the tendering process for the under-mentioned projects were initiated prior to GPA approval. So you will initiate the process, do everything, probably award the contract before GPA approval. And then the approval will now be retrospective. Do you understand?
Yes.
So which means you will decide as to who to award the contract and the mode of procurement, and then you will only seek GPPA's approval to ratify your actions. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think the GPPA process before the contracts were awarded was late.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely, that happens.
So it was late. So the contracts were awarded.
The contracts were awarded
before the approval from GPPA.
Before the approval from GPPA.
The same with long gain roads and bridges.
Yes.
The same again with Silla Construction Company.
Yes.
So and all this the amount for Green Vision is $3,928,405.
Which one?
Green Vision.
Green Vision, yes.
And you did not follow due process, because you can't have approval being the award being done before the approval. The same with long gain roads and bridges.
Yes.
The construction of Songkunda Bridge. Do you recall that?
Yes.
The amount is $4,897,000.
Yes.
$125 is 80 pututs.
Yes.
So again, no process being followed. Contracts, the procurement method initiated, contracts awarded, and then afterwards you came about securing GP approval.
Yeah, that's how it happens, because I was informed the GPP approval came came late when all these contracts were awarded.
Awarded, exactly.
Yes, yes.
Now, also Silla Construction Company, the Alunhare Footbridge.
Yes.
The same with the construction of Samba Lolo Bridge by Long Gain Roads and Bridges.
Yes.
The Silla Construction Company for Alunhare Footbridge is $2,942,320.
Yes.
The one for Samba Lolo Bridge is $660,000. Now, who decides as to who is going to be awarded these contracts? If you don't follow process, if you don't follow due process, if you don't follow the laid down regulations as per GPA rules and regulations, now who decides? Who makes decisions? The council.
Yes. For the infrastructure project, the bridges and roads.
Yes.
The council asks us to proceed, do the advertisement, do the recruitment, and of course award. Then the procurement officer was in communication with GPPA. But before finally GPPA's approval will come, the contract committee have identified these people and the contract.
Were you part of this meeting?
Yes, I was.
Did you agree to the identification of these people?
Yes, I was there.
So, and you know fully well that there was no process being adhered to.
Well, at that time, I was informed that GPPA was written to by the procurement officer.
GPPA was what?
The GPPA were contacted.
Yes.
For the approval of these projects. But after when we realized there was delay before the approval, then these contracts were awarded.
Now tell
me. It was later the contracts, the data.
How was Silla Construction Company awarded the contract for the Alunhare Footbridge?
Yes, I think I did say that. I said this Alunhare Footbridge started through the ward committee.
No, you see, and that's the point. This is the same bridge which you said started through the ward committee, and you yourself and the chairperson made the decision. Is that what you told us earlier?
Not that one. It's the councillor of the ward.
Because of the ward.
You're talking of the Alunhare one.
Yes.
The Alunhare one is the one I said supposed to be funded by the ward accounts.
Yes.
The ward funds.
Yes.
But could not be able to fund later,
They funded just partly.
Partly, yes.
You said about how much?
25,000, the ward accounts.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you told us in between that the decision was taken by the individual ward was brought by the ward councillor.
The ward councillor, yes, to the council, yes.
Yes. But there was no meeting on that.
No, I cannot remember. There was
You
no
said
meeting.
there was management meeting.
Yes.
So there was no contract meeting.
There was no contract meeting.
And how about the Sambalolo Bridge? Was there any contract committee meeting?
The Sambalolo, there was a contract committee meeting.
Did you sign attending any contract committee meeting for this bridge?
Yes, I think we have that one with the procurement. Yes.
Do you have it?
Yes.
If you ask to produce it, will you be able to produce that?
Yes.
Yes, please make sure.
Contract committee meetings, minutes.
Yes. Signed contract committee minutes.
For Sambalolo and...
For Sambalolo Bridge.
Okay.
Now, there were a series of single source procurement amounting to $1,888,370. And that'll be on page 70. And then about 3 of those procurements probably fall under your portfolio. You will see that there was the construction of a market, and the name is Mamadou Saliu Balde.
Yes.
I think do you recall that?
Yes.
So you probably be in charge of this particular procurement.
Yes.
So what can you tell us about this particular procurement?
This is the fish vendors market.
Yes.
Called Sandika, commonly known Sandika.
Yes.
When there was need for these vendors to be housed, because where they are selling is at an open space.
Yes.
Council asked the planning to, there's an area around the riverside. Council asked us to assess and see if this place can be constructed for the fish vendors.
Yes.
So when we visited the site with the councillor of the ward, we realized that this place is feasible.
Yes.
So the drawing of this fish vendors shed was prepared, and there was a BOQ attached to it.
So why was it single sourced? Who made the decision that it was supposed to be single sourced? Who identified the contractor?
This contractor lives in Mansajang,
Yes.
and I don't know whether he got the information that council is about to construct this particular shed, and he came to council. And not only him, there were a few of them who came to inquire about the plan for constructing that fish vendor shed.
How do you know that this contractor lives in Mansajang?
Whether how I know?
Yes.
Because I've been seeing him in town. I know he lives there.
So you guys were just giving people you are seeing in town just contracts and left, right, center? Huh?
Not that.
Yes. Mr. Sise,
Yes, sir.
in your unit,
Yes.
you have, in the physical plan unit, you have a draftsman,
Yes, we have draftsmen.
you have draftsmen,
Yes.
you have, I assume it should be a cartographic draftsman,
Yes.
you have an architectural draftsman,
No, we don't have those among them.
Okay, now, among all these draftsmen who work with you, are you telling us that they cannot draw a simple shed to the extent where you should contract it out? What is the use of hiring these people?
No, I'm not saying. I said it was drawn and the BOQ was attached. It was drawn.
Who made the drawings?
The planning office. It was drawn. This shed was drawn, and there was a cost attached.
All right, okay. Because I thought I thought I heard you saying that somebody
No.
in Mansajang was going to do the drawings.
No.
All right.
I said the fish vendor shed was drawn and the BOQ was attached.
Who did the drawing?
I did the drawings.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I did the
It's
drawings.
clear. Thank you, Council.
And $114,750 was also spent on the payment of cost of materials for council's various projects in 2021.
Yes.
What do you know about that?
Does it specify which projects?
No, it did not. It said various projects.
Federal projects. We have renovation works at the council. One is the extension of the chairman's office, and the other one is the construction of the vice chairman. It is one building, and of course the construction of the driver's office, we call it, and of course the extension of the chambers, the toilet facilities. Before there were no toilet facilities, but we were able to construct those toilet facilities attached to the conference hall. Those were internal works that the council underwent.
And then they were also all single sourced as well.
For the toilets was done by the council masonry. That was not contracted, and that of the extension for chairman's office and the vice chairman, those were not contracted outside. We have an employee masonry, will provide the materials, and the masonry will do those works.
$81,000 was spent on the payment of contract work on the Sandika market.
Yes, Sanduka was contracted.
By Mamadou Saliu Balde.
Yes, Sandika was contracted.
Through single source.
Yes.
Who made the decision? Is that you?
The council.
The council?
Yes.
Was there a contracts committee meeting on that?
I cannot remember.
You cannot recall?
Cannot recall.
Now, in all these decisions that you have taken, when I say you, I mean you very self, the CEO, or the finance director, in relation to just focusing entirely on single sourcing and then just spending council's monies on people that you see in town, for the most part of it. Now, want to draw your attention to the fact that if you turn to page 71, delivery notes. Do you usually have or receive delivery notes?
No, sir.
Why is that? Why is that? Is it that you don't know about it, or you just don't do it? Just on demand for it?
No, I never request for it.
How about purchase orders being signed by the suppliers? When your unit or your department, you're in need of something, for example, you need to raise a particular purchase for a particular procurement. Are they usually being signed by the suppliers?
Of course, yes.
No, the evidence is that has never been done.
Okay.
On page 72, the auditor highlighted that this practice, in fact, is really not one that you guys engage in.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, if there's a need for material for
Yes.
any of our works, especially those renovations you're talking about, I'll be asked to, when I produce the BOQ, because all cannot be purchased at the same time because of finance issues, because there's not enough finance. But I'll be asked to, what can the Mesna do for that particular period, maybe for a week? If you are purchasing 10 bags or 25 bags, I'll make a requisition of 25 bags. Then this will be signed by the CO, and it will be submitted to the procurement to provide those materials for the work to continue.
When you said that your role is to engage in planning, supervision, and costing of projects,
Yes.
how will you describe your role in the most practical aspect? Do you really have a total control of your office, or are there interferences from other individuals?
Yes. As far as my office is concerned, I have control over my office. But sometimes I'll be overpowered in order not to follow some of the right procedures.
Sometimes?
Sometimes I'll be overpowered not to follow the right procedures as needed in the implementation of the project.
Can you explain that for us to understand better as to how you are sometimes overpowered?
Yes. For instance, this borehole project we're talking about.
Yes.
We were not asked to advertise these projects. It was one day we found this gentleman introduced to us as the provider of these services.
By the chairman?
By the chairman. So those are some of the reasons why I'm saying sometimes we have been overpowered.
So that is one incident. Can you name us another incident wherein you have seen yourself as being overpowered or being influenced in one way or the other?
Like for the project of the pavement at the council.
Yes.
That also contractor came and he was introduced to us.
By who?
By the chairman.
Okay.
That is there to provide the pavement for council.
Yes.
And possibly we also to study some of the roads in Basse.
Yes.
And that need to be paved.
Yes.
So, but that of the Basse community was not done, but the council complex was paved with interlocking blocks. This contractor was introduced to us, and that's also
and all procurement related activities in relation to this particular contract was done beyond your reach.
Yes.
By the chairman.
It's because when they made prior discussions before coming to us. So when he came, it was later that the contractor also came after some weeks, and he was introduced that he's the one going to do this X and Y with the pavement of our premises at the office.
Is this a frequent occurrence in Basse Area Council? Your probably seniors trying to usurp your role, trying to take over your role? as the planner in relation to supervising and then costing of these projects? Do they really interfere in your work frequently?
Yeah, yes, because why I'm saying this, in normal circumstances, this contract we are talking about, most should be, the planner should be informed and they are advertised, the contract committee sits over and they do the necessary follow-ups.
So then will you say the decision to, or the practice to not follow GPPA regulations and rules as to how contracts are being managed and awarded for the better safeguarding of public funds? Is it fair enough to say that these are deliberate acts by those in charge in Basse?
Excuse me?
Would you agree then that the actions they are doing in interfering with your work, in overpowering you as you have clearly outlined, thereby having a total disregard of what the rules are or the regulations are in relation to how contracts could be awarded, that these actions are in fact deliberate by the same people who tend to overpower you or anybody else in relation to how council's finances are supposed to be spent?
Yes, I will say yes.
So does that explain to a great extent as to why council keep on continuously being bankrupt or not having funds to even pay salaries?
Well, I don't think that could contribute, but the council, the mode of our revenue, how it was coming, also contributed. Because if revenue is available and need to be collected and it's not collected,
is there a possibility that the contractors that are being brought to you and being forced onto you by the chairperson or anyone else are probably people that they know outside of council and they just want to favor them? Is that a possibility?
Whether the contractors that we are brought
and forced onto you to accept?
Yes.
Is it possible that these are people that they ordinarily know and then they just want to favor them and award them a contract?
Well, in the first place, if you don't advertise a project and you identify somebody to do, that means you know the individual, and maybe he's reasonable to, for you to offer him the contract. Maybe that could be the case.
Maybe there is an expectation that when the person is offered the contract without following rules, then there will probably be naturally a benefit from that contract.
Well,
is that a possibility?
Well, I don't think. Well, it's a possibility, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
It's a possibility.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson.
It's a possibility.
That's all for this witness.
We have requested that you provide us with certain information.
Yes.
So please endeavor to provide that by end of next week.
Before end of next week?
Yes, before end of next week.
Specifically, Thursday, Friday, Monday?
Friday, by Friday next week.
Friday next week, yes. Inshallah.
We may rise.